You're listening to Ka-Pow, the pop culture podcast. Comics, television, movies, and more. If it impacts fan culture, we have something to say about it. And now, your hosts, Michael, Jordan, Cliff, and Seth.
Hey everybody, thanks for returning to Ka-Pow, the pop culture podcast. My name is Jordan Lowe.
I'm Cliff Barnes.
I'm Seth.
We have an extra special listener request episode.
Extra. I would describe it as extra.
Extra.
We have not done a bracket in a while. And Mr. Jesse Starcher said, hey, I'd like to hear another bracket. And we put our heads together and we came up with...
Because, wait...
Well, Cliff came up with.
He didn't give us any suggestions, by the way. I want to point out,
right.
Anybody can just start suggesting doing brackets. Anybody can just say, let's do a bracket.
Yeah.
But nobody wants to suggest a bracket.
Correctamundo.
But Cliff stepped in.
So Cliff's idea was the Showcase Showdown. We're going to do the greatest game show bracket challenge of all our favorite TV game shows throughout the years.
Old TV, bring it. That's
the sweet
preaching to the
spot.
choir. Let's talk some freaking letter turners.
So it's the holiday season, doop-de-doo, and there's things are going into reruns. So we're going to look back at some other kind of TV, have some fun. We're on the other side of episode 250, so
exactly
we've
downhill.
We've exhausted all options. You're sick of our normal show.
We had 250 good ideas. It's time for some bad ideas.
So we've got a March Madness style bracket. We are pitting different game shows against each other without much rhyme or reason. There's a few rivals, in-state rivals, like kind of similar shows. There's a little bit of seeding, but it's basically luck of the draw, random. And we're going to try to pick between two game shows. Winner moves on to face the next one, so on and so on. You've seen a bracket before. You know how this works.
Right. The one thing you haven't seen was the last bracket, which was 106 million things.
Yeah, we're not doing that again.
TV theme shows, but Cliff took over this. Cliff would not let me have 1,000 game shows. He said, no, I'm doing it. We're only going to have
34.
Which
that is two play-in.
That is 100 and some less than the last bracket we did.
Exactly. So how do we
we enjoy doing this. We like talking about this nostalgic stuff and pitting in between us. We're not going to fight. We're not going to argue. We generally give and take on this. So.
Good. You just cave to our decisions. Don't fight.
Yeah. So if you're wondering how exactly I came up with 34, it was totally random. That is just where I stopped. Okay. There were 34 game shows that I was like, yeah, that sounds pretty good. We can debate that. There was
32, and then I said you have to add these two.
That's true.
34.
That's true. That was the compromise.
You're like, you'll allow me to add two game shows.
Two.
Okay.
So
I had no opinion.
You had no opinion. That is correct.
Remember that.
So I thought you had pretty well nailed it on the first try.
Yeah, you were just two off.
So for this episode, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna do one region of our bracket. I'm gonna for those patrons that can watch the video, I'm going to scroll out a little bit here, share my screen, kind of show you what exactly we are, what we're looking at here, okay? So, just...
Okay.
Just for reference, there are 4 regions. We have the Trebek region, we have the Sajak region, we have the Barker region, and then we finish it up with the Dawson region, okay?
Oh, the sexiest region.
Exactly. So
the most kissy face region.
Indeed.
You could have put all the sexy shows into one region for the Dawson region.
None of our microphones are long enough, skinny enough.
Yes. That's true.
Oh, yeah. We need the freaking, Yeah.
The wired. Yeah. You still got the cord on it. So anyways, that's what we're dealing with tonight. We have made a decision on last minute that we are going to run through the Barker region here.
Yes.
Okay.
You guys got to become patrons because, like, he did the fonts and everything. You don't know what you're missing. If you're just listening to the audio, you don't know what you're missing.
Yeah. So we have a play-in. We're just going to start going in here. We've got a play-in immediately, which is the Joker's Wild.
Well.
And that is up against Starcade.
This is Starcade. That's one of the ones I made you add.
Yeah, so we're going to just start off with it.
I'll just start us off with Starcade. I have no notes. And all I remember, it was like early 80s. I'd say around 82, 83, 84. The original esports. Do you guys have any memory of Starcade?
It sounds familiar, but I can't picture it.
This is Starcade, TV's first video arcade game show, starring your favorite video games, and some brand new ones being introduced to the public for the first time anywhere. And now, here's your host for Starcade, Jeff Edwards.
Okay, thank you very much, and welcome to Starcade. We're backstage today. Our players are warming up for today's big match, and a special match it is. Today, one of these two is going to have an opportunity to win their own video arcade game. So, players, are you ready? All right, let's go play Starcade.
It was just like so great to me at that time. This is the heyday of arcades in general. You know, just all these different stand-up arcade games.
So it was Starcade like arcade.
Yes, it was like the stage was just an arcade of video games, just tons of video games, and they would have a lineup of them, and then there would be a couple podiums, you know, where two contestants would stand there and answer video game questions, and then they would choose what video games to play, or it would be chosen for them. It changed different episodes, but it had a revolving cast of hosts. None that it doesn't matter who they were, but basically they played games like Donkey Kong Jr., Donkey Kong, you know, Pac-Man, but there was quite a slate of games at the time during the running of the show. Yes, Cliff's holding up a visual of it. They must have teams that episode.
Yeah,
at a couple podium, but they answer questions and then it would go over and play video games, and someone would play for like 90 seconds and try to get as high a score as they could on Donkey Kong Jr., and then the next guy would play and try to beat it. That's basically how it went. They would have special episodes where it was just Dragon Slayer, which those were my favorites because I love Dragon Slayer, but they would like focus in on just that one game a couple times. But you can like access a lot of these episodes online if you just Google Starcade episodes. But it's yeah, I loved it. It's one of my favorite game shows of all time because of the nostalgia of remembering how cool it was to be able to sit at home and watch kids and adults play these video games. They were really good at them, and you could see how to do things.
It was Twitch before Twitch.
Yeah, I mean, it was so ahead of its time. Like that is the hottest thing right now is to watch people play stuff on Twitch. You know, people that really get into playing video games, and I can't believe, you know, that it isn't talked about more. Like it was not on any brackets. When I looked up some of the stuff, nobody mentioned Starcade. I'm like, come on.
I totally missed out on this. So it's up against
what season did they give Fred Savage the Nintendo Power Glove?
Okay, we'll see. First, no, I'm not gonna go into that. I don't know.
So it's up against Joker's Wild. This is probably a more famous game show, started in the 70s.
From Hollywood, here's the game where knowledge is king and lady luck is queen. It's the Joker's Wild. And now, here's the host of our show, Jack Berry.
Thank you very much. Thanks so much, and a very cordial welcome once again to the Joker's Wild, where we have two very eager players ready to try to win some money and big prizes. So, Jay Stewart, will you tell us
and had
who
the
first
big
two players are?
the big slot machine they stood in front of. This was the show. It says it was billed as the game where knowledge is king and Lady Luck is queen. So
I don't know if Starcade had a good slogan like that.
Yeah, that's tough to beat. So there's a little bit of history of this show. It ran for a really long time in the 70s. Looks like it was on CBS 72 to 75 and then 77 to 86 in syndication. So that's where I remember it.
Is this one Snoop Dogg remade?
This is currently on TBS. It's the Snoop Dogg show. Yeah.
Snoop Dogg. I forget how to pronounce Snoop Dogg.
So he's the current host of the show.
Okay.
Yes. It's the same show.
Thank you. Have a seat. Need you to make yourselves at home. Crack like y'all. Welcome to the Joker's Wild. You're in for an amazing show tonight. We got 2 players competing for a chance to win $50,000. Not only that, but we also have special celebrity appearances, including Matthew McConaughey and G-Eazy. Let's meet our contestants. D. Swizzle, who we got?
Snoop, please welcome Angela.
There was actually a children's version at one time they called Joker, that aired from 79 to 81 in syndication. So 2 contestants, one a returning champion, played challenger, began the game by pulling a lever to set a slot machine in motion. Slot machine consisted of 3 modified slide projectors, blah, blah, blah. The discs were spun by electric motors. We don't care about any of that. The wheels on the machine each contained 5 different categories, which were revealed to the contestants before the game, and a joker, which served as the wild card. After the wheel stopped, contestant chose one of the categories and was asked a question about it. If they answered correctly, the dollar value of the question was added to his or her score. An incorrect response or failure to answer within the time limit allowed the opponent to a chance to answer and steal the money. Certain special categories gave the contestant control a chance to win extra money by either increasing the question value or allowing them to answer more than one question on their turn.
Do you like this show?
It was okay, the original version. I think the Snoop Dogg version is probably more popular. It's funny. He's funny. It's Snoop Dogg. It's just his show now. Right. It's a game show, but it's really just it's more about the comedy and him. So I think the memorable thing for me is him currently doing it, bringing it back more than the original show was.
I got one word for you. Joust. Starcade had people jousting.
Yeah. I know. It says.
I feel like I've seen it, but Joker's Wild leaves no impression.
Yeah, this has left no impression on me. I know I recognize the name. I recognize your description.
Yeah.
But not one that I would ever stay on the channel for. Possibly the newest version would be entertaining, but I didn't even know that existed.
Oh yeah, I think, like I said, that to me is more memorable. It's if I'm flipping through the channels and I see Snoop Dogg in a crazy tuxedo hosting a game show, I'm going to stop for a little bit. So
yeah, he doesn't even have to be hosting a game show.
No, it really, like I said, it's more about him than the actual the game show aspect. So,
and as I'm thinking about this bracket, with our current golden age of game show reboots going on, a lot of these are going to have current iterations like that.
Yeah, we're going to run through that quite a bit. So
yeah, that's interesting.
Joker's Wild, Starcade.
Starcade sounds more fun to me.
Yeah, I'm definitely a Starcade.
Okay.
Because I don't figure it's going to go very far. You've put it in a very precarious position.
All right.
It's hard to get through the Barker region when you pit it up against Barker.
Hey, you wanted it in there, so you got it in there.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So immediately let's just get it over with. Put Starcade up against The Price is Right. And what say you all? Everybody knows The Price is Right. Everybody knows Bob.
Well, like
Come
I
on
was
down.
mentioning, Pluto TV currently has old Price is Right episodes that I've been watching. Late 70s, early 80s, or where they're at right now. I don't know whether... I mean, they're just like... It's like the full catalog, and they've started way back, and they're just... Looks like they're just playing through all the episodes.
Mm-hmm.
And, oh, what a classic show. You see Bob Barker, who's still in the face, looked like he was 100 years old. I don't know whether he tanned a lot or what, but he has got brown hair, but his face looks really old. But he got his skinny...
That's not what we're judging this on.
Yes, we're judging everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
So The Price is
got
Right.
Skinny Mike. They've got Come On Down.
Yep.
Johnny Olsen.
Rod
Say,
Roberts.
like, America has changed so much in the last few decades, but that is still such a universal thing. That idea of staying home from school sick and watching The Price is Right.
That's
like
when you watch
everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone has had that experience.
That's when you watch it. Is when you stay home from school sick. You gotta.
There's not a lot of things we have in common with each other on such a scale everyone identifies with, and that's one of them.
Right, yeah. And but of course the game. Everyone knows the game. It's not hardly worth explaining. But you come on down. There's 4 of you. Johnny Olsen tells you to come on down.
Johnny, I'm a-watching you down there. I'm a-watching you now. I want to know the name of our next player. All right, Bob, it's Walnetta Wesley. Come on down. You're the next contestant on The Price is Right.
It's a Martin Goods and Bill Todburn production. And they
Man, you have been boning up.
They tell you all, give you the item. It's a necklace, or it's a mini TV, a 2-inch by 1-inch black and white screen TV, portable. You'll love it in your camper.
How much is it worth? How much is the retail?
It's worth $75. $1. $1, and you get up on stage, and if you're real lucky, you get to reach in Bob's pocket and pull out $100, and it's worth it for everybody. And then you get to play some pricing game. How much is that detergent? Is it the same as this other thing? And it's really fun to watch these old episodes because some things that were cheap then are expensive now, and vice versa. Mm-hmm. So it's still fun to play the old show. And Bob's great. Trivia question on the fly: who are the OG 3 models?
The Barker Beauties?
Yes.
Barker's.
Name the 3. First name's all that's required.
Diane.
Parkinson.
Janice.
Yes. I don't know her last name. And the redhead. What's her name?
I don't know.
Jordan?
No idea.
Holly. But they would currently they're in the perm stage.
Uh-huh.
They all have perms. Where I'm at on Pluto, and they still wear like a skirt and jacket, like they would all dress the same. Mm-hmm. But the format has never changed.
Not really.
The announcer tells the story of what when they're presenting an item, and they kind of mouth like they're talking, but they're not really saying anything, and they show each other the product or they present it. But
because it's an hour-long commercial to sell stuff to housewives.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
And it lasts. It's so great. It goes on, and then when you get you get 3 contestants. They get to spin the wheel. You got to get closest to $1, which is fun.
I thought you weren't going to go through all the rules.
Exactly. That was great. And, is that arrow going to stick? I don't know. Then okay, and then is somebody going to get stuck? Is somebody going to get sucked into the wheel? You always wonder.
Yeah, some granny was going to end up under the wheel.
Right.
Yeah.
And then they get them to the Showcase Showdown. And if you're within $100, you can win both showcases, and one of them is straightforward. One of them is a story. Mm-hmm. It's just, you can't break this formula. It's still going today. Got Drew Carey took over. You get everybody it's one reason we all get ourselves spayed and neutered. You know, it's a classic. Yeah. Now it's the I've only this may not be correct, politically correct. The only Playboy issue I ever bought was 1991's Diane Parkinson issue. I was like, I am buying this issue. I love Diane Parkinson. I was like, so it's a classic show.
So a couple notes real quick. Okay. Premiered September 4th, 1972 on CBS.
It actually had an earlier version.
It did.
Before that, but
Bob Barker was the series' longest-running host from 72 debut until his retirement in 2007. Drew Carey took over. Announcers beginning with Johnny Olson, followed by Rod Roddy, and then Rich Fields. Then in 2011, George Gray became the announcer. They've used several models. And the only thing I think we really didn't hit on was the scandal stuff with some of the models and all that went down with Bob Barker and sexual harassment and all that. So that's the not so fun stuff. Yeah, they were his beauties.
They were all our beauties.
Classic game, like you look forward to certain games. You know, they'd put it's like, oh crap, I don't want to see it.
Plinko.
I love the
Plinko. I will say this: when you watch the old episodes, very few good games. Most of them are terrible. It's all about detergent and things like that. Very few of them are
and a lot of them were just, here's some numbers. Which order these numbers? Do you take something off the front of the number or the back? You know, is this number higher than that number? So it's a lot of just like putting numbers in order.
They're way better today with the Plinko and the car thing. You got to get the front of the car and the back of the car and all that. There's always some sort of new car.
Yes. A new car.
One of the showcases. Yeah. So I'm the biggest proponent for Starcade, but because of its position, I can't. You can't win against Price is Right.
Not in the Barker region.
You're in the wrong town. You came to the wrong town, Starcade.
The price is wrong, bitch.
Well played.
Yeah, and I've got to say, we just started, but I can't imagine any other show on this list has as big of a dick move as bidding $1 more than the guy beside you. Like that's the worst thing you can do in all game show history.
Right.
Is bidding that extra $1. It's horrible. You're a bad human being.
So many people have been on there as contestants and went on to be like Aaron Paul as a famous video on there when he was in the Showcase Showdown. Allison Hayslip from G4 was on there. Just like many people have been on. It's been around forever. Nowadays, back then it was all about beauty. Like if they picked you out of the crowd, it was because you were hot. Yeah. And nowadays you're the
t-shirt.
You've got the loudest t-shirt. They didn't wear the t-shirts back then.
Yeah, the name tags on everybody's shirt. Every bit of this yellow, is iconic.
Every bit of it. You're totally right. So we better move on.
Yeah.
Or it's just the Price is Right podcast.
We gotta keep going.
That's it, Cliff. New idea. Price is Right podcast.
There are over 9,000 episodes, so I mean, the content
I'm gonna take off work.
Yeah, endless. All right, matchup number 2. You ready?
Yes.
Win, lose, or draw versus Funhouse.
Funhouse. Well, first off, let's start with win, lose, or draw. Is this Bert Convey? I can't. I'm again no notes.
Yes, Bert.
He's got
Convey,
the perm. He's got the hair.
Yes, Bert Convey and Burt Reynolds.
Welcome to the quick draw game that everyone can play. It's win, lose, or draw. Come on in and join our host, Bert Convey.
This is a sexy show, if I remember. They were like a little loose with their innuendo.
Yeah, so this was a game that started out as just something. This is when Burt Reynolds was married to Lonnie Anderson.
It's very casual.
Yeah, and it was. They made the set look like Burt Reynolds' living room at the time.
just bearskin rugs.
Well, yeah, it's just the centerfold to Playgirl. Remember, like a little evening shade going on.
And ladies and gentlemen, for 5 consecutive years, the #1 male motion picture box office draw in the world, Burt Reynolds. Okay, take it away, Bert Convey.
Thank you, Bob. Welcome to Win, Lose, or Draw, everybody. Nice to have you with us. Thank you for tuning in.
To be here.
Yes, this is going to be very interesting, I think, if I get a word in edgewise. This is a game that a lot of us have been playing for years. Truly, I mean that, because we've been playing it in this setting because our set is modeled after Burt Reynolds' living room. It's pretty close.
It is? Very close.
I think it's very close. We've tried to be...
he has nude waitresses.
No.
We do the lightning round in his bedroom.
He doesn't. You see how it's going to go. I think you'll get the picture. We've tried to duplicate it, of course, and I think we've done a very good job.
This is his rug.
Huh?
I know. I woke up on this rug one time.
No. Actually, there's a pizza stain right here. I think it's. Oh no, you're right. Pepperoni. That's not yours. Okay. Right. As you can see, we have two teams. We always play men against the women. It seems to work out better that way.
Yeah, and that was the idea. It was a game they played at home with their friends, their celebrity friends.
Right.
So that's.
So was it like it's just Pictionary, right, or something like that, right?
Yeah. You've got the the easel with the big pad of paper on it and the big black marker and somebody
picture page.
Right. You get something.
Wait, that's the wrong guy. That's a little too loose. You're getting into some Cosby.
It was a different type of marker. So this but that's what it was. It went from 89 to 92. Okay. The original version, and they had their, celebrities at the time. And then, they would divide it up into teams, boys versus girls, if I remember correctly. Somebody get up to draw. The other two would have to guess what they're drawing. They would have a little card. Burt Convey would hold up there what they had to draw, and then there was another version on the Disney Channel called Teen Win, Lose, or Draw, and then
it was weak. It was not Burt Reynolds' living room, so
no, it wasn't. And then there was a Disney's Win, Lose, or Draw, which aired in 2014. They tried to bring it back.
It quickly became a home game.
It did.
You could buy.
We had the home game.
Oh yeah, everybody.
Yeah, I feel like everybody had some version.
Yes.
It's either Pictionary.
You either had Pictionary or Win, Lose, or Draw.
Correction, real quick. Teen Win, Lose, or Draw ran from 89 to 92. The original pilot was taped in November of 86 with Burt Reynolds.
Okay, so
featured.
We're not going to get any cards or letters about that.
Right, let's get it right. Featured celebrities Lonnie Anderson, Betty White, Burt Reynolds, Tony Danza.
Yes.
And Roddy
mom
was
the original mom. The boss.
The boss.
And they do, Jimmy Fallon does that on his show with celebrities, and it's become it's a very simple concept.
People like to play games. People like to watch celebrities letting it out there, being willing to embarrass themselves a little bit, seem more, like us. They're just like us, Jordan.
They're just like us. Vicki Lawrence.
That was a good show.
Vicki Lawrence hosted for a while. Yeah. I do remember that. So she was pretty good. Then Sally Struthers took over after that. But I was a big fan of this show.
Price of a cup of coffee.
Right.
You could host this show.
That's right. But I was a big fan at the time. I was pretty young, and the concept was new to me. So it was always funny. I think Tim Conway was on there sometimes, and then sometime at the end,
if there was Win, Lose, or Draw.
If there was time remaining, they would pull somebody from the audience to put on their team.
Very excited person.
Yes. So come on down to Bert's living room and you can draw.
What's this up against?
I remember getting the pun of the title. because I didn't know what a draw meant. I remember as a kid being like, "Oh, it means two things. Cool." I thought that was very clever.
So this
brain was developing.
I was sniffing the markers there. Dude, do you know what the title means? Two things?
You look at this painting. It's a ship. Okay. What's the other one?
The other show it's up against is Funhouse.
All right, welcome to Funhouse. How's it going, everybody? We got a great new Funhouse for you and new ways to speed through it. Check it out. After conquering the heights of the ice mountain, you can take a jump off the mile-high suspension bridge straight into the Funhouse dump, where one of our trash cans could hold a fabulous prize. Right now, to bring on today's players, meet our twin cheerleaders, Jackie and Sammy. Yeah.
What is that?
While you were talking, I Googled it, and nothing about this rings a bell.
I don't know it by the name. I haven't Googled it yet.
Super 80s. Every picture on Google, there's a mullet involved. So
is this one word?
No memory.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
This is what you get.
Well, I can tell.
Cliff's doing the list.
I can tell you, I have a fairly vivid memory of this show. It was a kid's show.
It looks very Double Dare.
Yeah, it was writing the tales of Double Dare. It was hosted by somebody, J.D. Roth. It was on Fox. Okay, it ran from September '88 to April '91. First 2 seasons aired daily syndication. Then they renamed
by half-ass productions. Is what
they renamed it Fox's Funhouse for the 3rd and final season. Similar to Double Dare, 2 teams competing against each other, answering questions, taking part, messy games, with the winners running through the obstacle course, which was the Funhouse. Okay, at the end of the show, that was the goal. You wanted to be able to run through the Funhouse. Hosted by J.D. Roth, they had cheerleaders on there.
Yeah, the Ross Beauties must have struck a chord, because there's a lot of pictures of them. A lot of kids must have had crushes on them as kids, because Google Images has a lot of pictures of these pretty ladies with teased hair.
Interesting note: British Knights was the major sponsor of the show, so every contestant, cast, crew member, including the host, wore a pair of British Knights shoes.
Nice.
It was later changed to LA Gear. So there's that. After it premiered, there was a spinoff called College Madhouse, which was similar in '89. It was just a big fun house. It was a big structure that had a bunch of
fun house.
It had a bunch of rooms in it that all had obstacles, and then they would have like large like price tags. Tags were red, marked with each different prize. 10 tags were green, which were cash amounts from $50 to $300, and then they were placed in the fun house, and you had to find them. So you would have to search the different rooms for them. Every room held a prize tag, hidden or visible, was marked with a placard indicating the prize. So the team had 2 minutes to collect as many tags as possible. Only one contestant could be inside the funhouse at a time, and a limit of 3 tags per turn was enforced. Okay. Both members received all the prizes and cash picked up by either of them, including any carried contestant who was still inside the funhouse when time ran out. One tag was secretly designated as the Power Prize and awarded a bonus vacation to both contestants. JD would show the viewers where this was.
But JD has to come on vacation with you.
Yes, with his British Knights. Everybody has to wear British Knights the entire
week. K's.
Yes. So, it was a popular show with kids. I watched it every day before school.
I assumed it's on here.
Yeah, yeah. So, and it was just for a very short run. It was a very popular kids television show. Like I said, at probably the height of when that was a thing, Double Dare, Funhouse, and which spawned some of those Nickelodeon shows later on after that. So
you can't do that on television.
So, feelings?
Win, lose, or draw.
Yeah. I'm up for win, lose, or draw. Jordan?
I third that.
Okay.
I won the skunk.
Alrighty. Onward, guys. Next matchup. Pyramid in the various versions versus Double Dare.
Okay.
I have a feeling I know which way this is probably going to go with Jordan and I, but maybe you feel differently.
Well,
So
you're talking like the iteration I think of is $25,000 pyramid with Dick Clark.
I have a feeling this is going to be a good run. He's got himself all hyped up. He's running through every clue he ever heard of. Earl, none of those are going to come up in this game.
Oh, I know.
You're going for $31,100. The best thing I can do is give you a little quiet. So, folks in the audience, please don't say anything to one another. We give them a second to catch their breaths. All right. For $25,000, here is your first subject. Go.
Pickles.
Things that are sour.
Yes. Because it's your birthday.
Why you have a party? Why you have a surprise party? Why you celebrate?
Because it's your birthday. Because it's your anniversary.
Why you get presents or gifts?
Yes. Sandpaper.
Things that are rough, scratchy, abrasive.
right, there was it actually started as the $10,000 pyramid.
Well, yeah.
In like the early 70s, and then
up their game.
Yeah, as the show went on, $25,000. It was a $50,000 in 81, and then $100,000 in 85 to 88. Jeez. So, Bill Cullen.
But it's was it like Password? Is it kind of like Password?
Kind of, yeah.
You're just basically trying to get somebody else.
Things that are like Password.
Yeah, things are like Password.
Yeah.
It's one load to draw. Funhouse. Yeah.
There's actually there was a current revival of the 100,000 Pyramid that premiered in 2016 on ABC. Michael Strahan was the host, and then that I think it ran through September 2019. I think it's still going. 5th season in 2019, so maybe it's still going. But yeah, it was.
It matched the celebrity up with a normal person, right?
Yes.
Put him in chairs.
Normal person, yes.
Yeah. A normal contestant.
They put him in chairs. One had their back to the pyramid.
Yes.
And
they had to get 7 things.
Right.
I know it's like you had a possible 7
and
words.
You'd say apple, banana, pear. You say things that are fruits.
Things that are fruity.
Yeah, there were 6 categories arranged in a triangle on the pyramid.
As a pyramid.
As a pyramid. And
pyramid shaped.
Has won a total of 9 daytime Emmys for Outstanding Game Show, second only to Jeopardy, which is 113, guys. Dick Clark was the most famous host of the show from 73 to 80.
Only one I remember.
Okay. But then Bill Cullen hosted a nighttime version in the late 70s. John Davidson hosted the $100,000 Pyramid in 91. And Donny Osmond hosted a version simply titled Pyramid from 02
That's when it got a little bit rock and roll.
A little bit. So, yeah. Pyramid, and then
I remember enjoying that, and I remember being very frustrating too. Of like, even as a kid, you're like, it's obvious. Like, you'd people be sitting like, So yeah, that's a very frustrating show.
It was a lot easier when we had the answer sitting in front of us.
Yeah, we always had the answer. That's you had to not look. You had to not look and test yourself. So against Double Dare. So,
oh man,
wax poetic about Double Dare.
On your mark. Get set, go!
These two teams are in the dark trying to catch ping pong balls by clashing their symbols. Whoever catches a ball first will symbolize silliness with $20 and control of the show that never clashes with good taste. Yes, it's Double Dare.
Oh, just seconds away. We are still trying. They are getting eggs all over the place, but not quite there.
Jordan, I assume this was a show you watched.
Yeah, that was Nickelodeon, right?
Right, Nickelodeon.
Yes, we didn't have cable.
Okay.
Really early, so I didn't watch it from its probably prime, but yeah, I definitely remember watching it and enjoying it a lot. Perfect kid show with the slime jumping in messy stuff, but yeah, like everything makes a mess. Everything is the physical challenge. Yeah, so it wasn't just standing answering questions. It was movement and action and
right
and dirt.
This was
pulling flags out of noses.
Yes.
What was that guy's name?
Mark Summers.
Yeah, I knew it was Mark something.
Yes.
I thought it was Mark something.
Mark originally Nickelodeon 86.
3 minutes on the clock.
To 93. Then they brought it back in 2000 and then again in 2018 to 2019. So this was like Nickelodeon's first big kids game show. I watched it every night during dinner time for, a year or two. Insanely popular, just a fun show. I love the obstacle course at the end. The physical challenges. I mean, they had Family Double Dare. That was fun. Came on later.
True.
Yeah. And I kind of feel like this was kind of like the grandfather of a lot of these shows that have come since with kids.
Yeah, but use a lot of like pies in your face and water balloons, like just stuff that they would incorporate into ridiculous situations that you had to fill up this bucket using this hose and smash it into your friend's face and see how much of a mess you can make.
Yeah, within a month from its premiere, Double Dare more than tripled viewership of Nickelodeon's afternoon schedule. Became the highest rated original daily program on cable. During the first year, the program averaged a 3.0 household Nielsen rating, which was over 1 million households were watching it every day. Followed in syndication. And then they had the super sloppy Double Dare, Double Dare 2000, a bunch of different, but it was still basically the same game. I know it was a really big deal when they brought Mark Summers back.
Moms everywhere were
excited
for Mark Summers.
Yeah.
I remember some kid broke his freaking leg or arm, like snapped the bone sticking out like it was a big thing. They were like, oh my God, can't show that.
That sounds like an urban legend.
No,
did you see the episode? I did.
It happened. And then there was something else. I feel like I remember it had like its own sewage system, the whole place. Like it was just such a mess. They would use so much food and was it like gack?
Yeah.
Or something?
Yeah.
Isn't that a drug?
I don't think.
Anyway, it was a mess. That show was a mess.
Yeah, that was the whole point.
And Mark Summers was famously OCD.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and he was like a Howie Mandel type.
Yeah, didn't like messes and things.
Wow, he was on the wrong freaking show.
Yeah. But I remember the questions, they'd ask you a trivia question, and you could dare the other team to answer it. And then if you couldn't answer, you double dare and like get extra points. So that's where the name came from.
Or you could do the physical challenge.
Or take the physical challenge.
Yeah. I don't know.
The floor was like tile. The floor was made to look like you were in a bathroom or whatever.
Blue tile. Mm-hmm.
If a couple celebrates their paper anniversary, how many years have they been together? It's worth $20.
Dare.
Now worth $40.
Double dare.
$80 or a physical challenge. If you celebrate your paper anniversary, how many years you been together?
Physical challenge.
It's only 1 year, and we have an $80 physical challenge right down over here. Well, let's take a look at it and see what happens. It is worth $80. Last time we did a physical challenge, I said, who wants to get messy? And you sent your partner all the way over there. So I think it's time to get you a little messy. So you stay right over here because we're going to put a cup on your head. And you come right over here. And what are we going to do? Well, we're going to turn this crank. And as we turn this crank, water is going to go up this tube. And what is it going to do? Well, it's going to rain on his parade. You see, he has to stand underneath this area where the water will be coming. And if you can fill it past the line in 30 seconds or less, you get $80 and a big lead. Otherwise, the lead will go over to the other team. Can they do it? We will see right now. On your mark. Get set, go, keep pumping that thing, and here comes the water. That's
very juvenile humor. Said lots of boogers and toilet. You had to reach into toilets, and it was.
I remember them running through the freaking the hamster wheel and stuff.
Yeah, they would have to dig flag, like you said, pull the flags out of the.
Flags. That's what I remember. There's tons of flags.
Yeah. So this is pretty high on my nostalgia board here. I didn't watch a lot of Nickelodeon as a kid, but man, this was definitely one that I didn't miss every single night. So, at least for a period of time. So, I could see this one going pretty far for me. Pyramid was just something that was on daytime television to me.
Pyramid
I watched
just something that was on.
It was just on. You had 13 channels, you had to pick one of them.
Okay, let's
You had
move.
13 channels? Man, you're bragging.
Man. All right, we'll allow it. Let's do it. Double Dare, you're through. You beat Pyramid.
Yeah, Pyramid's probably more iconic, as a classic game show, but yeah.
But it's no
Double Dare probably
fun.
had a bigger impact.
I mean, some kid broke his arm or leg. What more do you want?
Yeah, someone half remembers a story about something almost happening. So
Right.
You gotta go.
It was a show that used like 16 million tons of expired food.
Yes. All right. Next matchup, guys. Moving right along. Let's Make a Deal versus Tic-Tac-Dough.
Oh, I'm straining my brain. I really want to remember Let's Make a Deal's host without you telling me. Do you know it, Jordan?
You asked me too quick.
Let's Make a Deal. I can picture the guy. Now it's Wayne Brady, or it was recently, but the main guy,
the very famous guy.
Yes, shoot.
You want me to tell you?
I don't want to waste everybody's time, so yes, I would like to.
It's Monty Hall.
These people, dressed as they are, come from all over the United States to make deals here in the marketplace of America. Let's make a deal. And now, here's America's top trader, TV's big dealer, Monty Hall.
Monty Hall, yes. That was a very iconic name. I can't. Yeah, because they had the 3 doors, and you had the one was behind door number 1 or door number 2. Would you like to trade that? Trade the coffee maker for what's behind door number 3?
I'll give you.
Well, it's a piece of shit. There's a turd there that I laid right before we started. We dressed up in costumes and stuff like that.
Right, exactly. And that was I always really liked. It wasn't a show I caught a lot of, but I remember being very excited when it was on. Because I liked the people that dressed up in costumes. And that's how he picked you out of the audience, came up to you, everybody was all in a Halloween costume, which back then, in my childhood, that only happened on Halloween. So
in your childhood.
Yeah, we didn't have
my childhood.
We didn't have all these conventions and cosplayers and all that stuff now. So started in 1963. Okay, I didn't realize it was that old. Selected studio audience members refer to them as traders making deals with the host. In most cases, a trader would be offered something of value and given a choice of whether to keep it or exchange it for a different item. So that's exactly what we're talking about. I'll give you this envelope with $100 in it, or you can have what's behind door number 3, and it might be a 3-legged goat. Who knows?
Right.
So...
Big time, Betty, you'll remember this show as the day that you gave away $2,000 in cash, right?
Right.
$1,800 vacation, right?
Right.
And 2 fantastic appliances, right?
Right.
But you have a key. And you have a car, and we're going to find out whether it belongs in your garage or in the junkyard as we open up the curtains and show you a pile of junk. Oh, wait a minute, friends. Betty, are those your friends back there? Because I detect some of them laughing. Now, let me tell you about that car. Do you see the name on that car? They didn't make those very long, They made them for a year or 2, and then they went out of style. You really have a collector's item. That's an Edsel. But thank you, Betty Carlton. And your husband has disappeared altogether. And I still
yeah.
What was the other show?
Tic-Tac-Dough.
From Hollywood, it's everybody's game of strategy, knowledge, and fun. It's Tic-Tac-Dough. And now, here's our host,
got some excitement brewing here on Tic-Tac-Toe, so let's don't put it off. Let's see what happens. Can our current champion, become the all-time one-e winner? Could he win his fourth car? Let's find out. Here he comes.
Our current champion, whose winnings total in cash and prizes $144,050, is the Navy pilot who enjoys horses and weightlifting, beats Tom McKee. And his opponent is a high school teacher who enjoys playing tennis. And
that sounds like a piece of garbage.
Again, I just Googled it, and the images are not helpful. It's a very
low host or anything.
It's a very low tech board that looks like a tic-tac-toe board.
Yeah,
with categories.
Yeah, I mean, I vaguely remember it, but it was not something I cared to watch.
It was let's see.
Did Wink have anything to do with this? Wink Martindale has to have hosted all of these shows at some point. A brief stint.
There were 3 versions produced. One, the initial 56 to 59 run, NBC.
Yeah, there's one in black and white that looks real square.
A 78 to 86 run, which is the one I remember on CBS, and then in syndication, and then a syndicated run in 1990. Jack Berry was the original producer, who was the original host, followed by Gene Rayburn, and then Bill Wendell with Jay Jackson and Win Elliott hosting primetime adaptations.
Gene Rayburn, he's the real deal.
Wink Martindale hosted.
He did!
Hosted the network and syndicated version beginning in 78, but left the program to host and co-produced Headline Chasers in 85-86.
So, always bet on Wink. I knew I pegged Wink for this from a mile away. I knew it.
Wink Tacto.
It should have been. It might have been a hit. It's all it needed.
Just a different.
To go all in on Wink. So we're obviously going with. I don't even remember what the other one was.
The big thing with this was the first game show that used computerized graphics.
Ooh.
The 1990 series used a completely computer-generated setup for its game board. So, yeah, kind of a basic game, but it.
And then it's the only way to win is not to play, so it went off the air.
Yeah, but
so win, lose, or let's make a deal goes through.
Right.
So,
exactly.
So, have we named everybody then?
Yep, that is all of the first.
That's the first round there. Mm-hmm. So,
okay, so going back up to the top, we have the Price is Right versus Win, Lose, or Draw.
That's an easy choice.
Okay. Then below that we have Double Dare versus Let's Make a Deal.
Watching Let's Make a Deal, I remember it being on a lot for a lot of years, a lot of incarnations, but I don't know, it wasn't one that I ever really looked forward to or made time out of my day to watch.
Well,
yeah, I'm perfectly fine going Double Dare.
Okay, I agree. So we're moving quickly now. All right, so that brings us to the end of this bracket. We have Price is Right versus Double Dare.
This is Johnny Olson speaking.
Cliff, we could do it. We could outnumber him.
We could.
And upset. We could bust their bracket.
We could turn this whole thing over on top of him. He's been watching it on Pluto TV, anticipating riding this one all the way out.
You know what's on Pluto TV? Not Double Dare.
If Mark Summers marches into the Barker bracket and takes it, wow.
That would be something. That would be a ripoff.
What an upset.
Wow. There's going to be freaking unspayed animals everywhere.
Everywhere.
They're going to be in every toilet and
all the back alleys will just be full. So
I saw the Showcase Showdown the other day was a jukebox, a Volkswagen Rabbit, and what was the other thing? I think it was a necklace. It was something real cheap. It was like the worst stuff. It was just like a rabbit. That girl was crazy excited about it too.
It doesn't matter what kind of car it is. It's a brand new car, and they go crazy no matter what. So, as much
was Drew Carey good? Did anybody watch the Drew Carey era? Was he good?
Yes.
Yeah, he's good.
He's fine.
He
embraced the fact that this was it for him.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah, I can't imagine his persona fitting that very well.
He is very I guess I thought that he was going to be a little snarky to the contestants, but he's very like welcoming to them. Mm-hmm. He has embraced it. These are my people now.
Yep.
And this is what I'm just going to ride this out.
I can do this for the rest of my career.
Right.
Yeah.
Till I'm 900 years old. Like
cash checks.
Right. Yeah. And it's fine. Like, it's never going to be Bob Barker again. I mean, come on.
There's not going to be enough controversy.
Yeah. I'm not going to get excited about Drew Carey, putting on a.
That's what I loved. Bob Barker.
Green.
He would sink that.
He had so many golf games, and like he was so annoyed at how bad everyone was with golf.
Yeah.
So him showing off his golf skills to a bunch of terrible golfers was always
and then slipping backstage.
Right. Doing who knows what.
I like to make Jordan shudder.
See, I was leaning away from Devlin there, but
if you think nothing was going on in that mess, you're wrong.
Mark Summers has never been canceled.
Oh,
Mark Summers never had to go to court. He never had to settle outside of court.
There's no flavor.
So
yeah, I'm trying to make this dramatic, but yeah, I think it has to be.
It's The Price is
Right.
The
classic Price is Right.
I want to thank you very, very much for inviting me into your homes for the last 50 years. I am deeply grateful. And please remember, help control the pet population. Have your pets spayed or neutered. Goodbye, everybody.
So we did it. We got
the
Barker
logo
got
written out with light bulbs.
Yes.
Like just every image from that, you can close your eyes and imagine every image of that.
Absolutely. This is Johnny Olsen. Come on down. You're the next contestant on The Price is Right. So Barker made it out of the Barker region.
Who would have ever guessed? So, but yeah, that was
that or Starcade.
That or Starcade. Funhouse, you never stood a chance.
No.
Yeah, so we'll keep going here. We'll do it. We'll do this 3 more times, and it's gonna get a little harder, I think.
Yeah, let us know if we messed it up. If something should have beat Price is Right, let us know so we can tell you too bad.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna get much of an argument, but maybe down the road.
Or if you have a thought for some other bracket we could do. More than just telling us to do a bracket. I mean, if you actually have an idea.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jesse. I know you're a busy man. Well, I'm just busting your chops.
Yeah. All right.
Here's the 250 some more.
All right, we will be back sometime with more of this bracket. Stay tuned. We'll have more Mandalorian news. That's almost over. We've got more streaming. We're in the middle of the streaming wars. I mean, it's the holiday season, but pop culture never stops, and we will always be there to wrestle it to the ground and tell you what it feels like.
And hold it down against its will.
I've lost all my trains of thought. But my name is Jordan Lowe, and I'll see you soon.
Oh, time to pull that curtain. I'm Cliff Barnes.
I'm Seth. Bye forever.
Ka-Pow, the pop culture podcast, is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Sounds, music, and clips played during the podcast are property of copyright holders. All original content is property of www.udownwithkpp.com. If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe and leave a comment. Ka-Pow, the Pop Cultured Podcast, is available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Podbean, Spotify, and wherever podcasts can be found. You can connect with us through social media on Facebook, YouTube, at the Ka-Pow Podcast on Twitter, or email the show, Ka-Pow, the Pop Cultured Podcast, at gmail.com. If you really want to go the extra mile, please sign up to be a patron through the Podbean app or our website, www.udownwithkpp.com, to receive special content and early access to some episodes. We are grateful to anyone that chooses to contribute, but please know that most of our content will always remain free, so please continue to like, comment, and share.